So I haven't posted on YouTube in a while, and there's a couple of reasons for that. But let's just get down to the root of the issue. I've been learning like a whole lot of stuff and messing around with a whole lot of projects. And the new big thing for me is Roblox Studio, which is really difficult actually to learn, even though I've messed around in Unity and Godot, because it's multiplayer. And so I've looked up a couple of tutorials and all, and I'm working through one right now, actually. But I just really want to get a game, One of the best ways that I can do that is with the forbidden toolbox. This toolbox has all sorts of models, all sorts of scripts, and just anything you need to make a game. However, if you've tried learning Roblox, everybody will tell you, do not make a game full of free models and their free scripts because they can create numerous bugs in your game, but I don't care about that. Why? Because I haven't made a game yet, and I just want to make a game. So we're going to do a challenge where we're going to try to make a complete game only using Roblox's models and the scripts that come with them. There's literally nothing else we can use. We can maneuver stuff around in the Explorer. We can move it around on the scene. Maybe edit a couple properties, but that's literally it. So if you were trying to make a game from only free assets, the first thing that you would think of would be to just find a game on the assets.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
And the closest you're going to come to finding a complete game is going to be just a simple obby, which I'm not going to just copy and paste an obby and call it quits for the video. So we're going to have to think a little more simpler. We need enemies. We need fun stuff. So first, I found a really simple enemy. He was a police guy. First, it was just one. He shot me. He killed me, all right? So there is now a challenge to whatever game I'm going to create. And then I added some cars, messing around with really cool stuff. So the cars are fun, but they're not quite ideal. Like most of the cars in the free assets section are of the same design, which doesn't really fit into a simple game. But whenever you're using the free asset section of Roblox, you can't really pick and choose. So I removed most of those cars for now, and I started focusing on the setting. Because we had a police officer that could kill us, all right? So now we just needed to make the world look cool. So I found this really sick city, and I was messing around with it, and it was actually a little weird whenever I was like running around through the city. Like it didn't feel like a city. Huh? Okay, why is this so tiny? Why is this so tiny? This might be one of the weirdest cities I've ever seen. Yeah, it was cool and all, but I just didn't like the feel of it. So I found a second city, which I liked a little bit better. And then I found another place, which was just flat grass and then some rocks that were used as borders. So I enlarged that asset or that model, and I made that the border around the city. And it took a lot of scrolling and moving around, but I eventually got the city to be perfectly flush to where the player wouldn't be going through the ground, but you could also see the ground. And so once we had that, we had the perfect setting, and it was just up to me to decorate it. So whenever I was decorating it, I was like, all right, so first things first, let's make a really cool spawn point. So I found this model of like a temple-ish spawn, and it came with its own spawn location. And so I just added that to the city, and I placed it in an open area. I also added a bunch of trees surrounding the city just to give it a bit of a better environment. And whenever you have the trees and you have a custom sky, which I also added, the entire thing was just looking like pretty cool. And there is indeed a forest. It's low-key as if there's a tree in the ground everywhere, Now, I didn't want to just leave it at that. You have a police officer chasing you through a city. I mean, that's kind of cool. But I wanted to add some extra stuff. So I added a car spawner because everybody loves cars. And even though the cars were kind of janky, I mean, still cars. I also added a shop, which was supposed to make me money, but apparently monetization in Roblox is a lot harder than I thought, especially whenever you can't modify the scripts, because the stuff that I added was actually meant to just be a placeholder. So there's shops that just don't work. I also added this really weird kind of gambling thing because everybody loves gambling.
Oh dang. Oh dang it. Oh dang. Oh dang. Oh dang it.
Of course, you're not going to lose any Robux on gambling. I'm not that devious. And then I made the enemies a whole lot worse. So you remember that police officer model that I found earlier? Well, I got rid of it. And instead, I looked up police officer enemy, and I was able to find an entire police officer spawner. So like it comes with like 10 police officers. And so I scattered those throughout the city. So there's police officers everywhere. And then I also found some zombie spawners, and so I put a couple of those down. And the zombies are way deadlier than any of the police officers. They can like one-shot you, especially if whenever they get clumped up. Yeah, you're basically doomed if you let them reach you. So that's it. That is, you technically have a game. It has been a couple of days since I finished making the game. I've made a couple of tweaks to it and did upload it to Roblox. So it is now a public game called Zombie City Survival Impossible. I've got a couple of screenshots from the game, but I think we just need to hop right into it. Here we go. We've got the game loading, and we're in. That was actually pretty fast. So this is the environment. You got the spawn point, the trees, the sky. You can't see it because it's out of the render distance, but there is a border out there. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, maybe even leave a comment. If you think the game looks fun, you can go check it out. Link in the description. Go watch some of my other videos, and I'll see you on the next one.